Content warning. In this video I wear a chasuble because I wanted to dress like a monk, but I did not find any robe I could have used. This was the brownest monk robe looking thing I found in the sacristy. Although I had no intention to harm anyone's feelings, I can understand if some are sensitive about this. This video is made for amusement and teaching, and I encourage the viewer not to take it too seriously. Have fun!
Hello, welcome to Fate Evolving. My name is Marie Claire 2. No! Hey everyone, my name is Brother Ken and welcome to my final project. We learned lots of different and interesting things in this semester, including Saint Benedict and the rule of Saint Benedict. It was so interesting that I wouldn't be surprised if some of you were like, wow, the lifestyle of the Benedictines looks so cool. I want to be a Benedictine monk too. But how does this work? If this is you, you don't have to worry anymore. I brought you 5+1 steps to follow to become a Benedict monk. But before we start, let's summarize what do we know so far. Saint Benedict was a monk in the 6th century. After living 3 years in a cave by himself, he founded his own monastery in 529 in Monte Cassino. Using previous monastery rulebooks, he wrote his own monastery rulebook. This is the Rule of Saint Benedict. After that, the monks living in Benedict's monastery, the followers of Saint Benedict, aka the Benedictines, lived their entire life by Saint Benedict's rulebook. These rules became so successful that after that, every other monastery used his rulebook with minor alterations. Technically, being a Benedictine was the only way to be a monk for hundreds of years after this. The rule regulates everything in a monk's life. What to eat, what to drink, when to eat, when to drink, how to behave, what to do, what to wear, when to wake up, when to sleep, how to sleep, what to think, when to think, what to say, when to say, how to obey, who to obey, what to work, how to work, when to work, when to pray, how to pray, everything. According to the rule, the most important values are modesty, discipline, order, obedience, humbleness, knowledge, and work. A monk has to pray several times a day and has to do something useful for the community. Pray and work. Ora et labora. This is their motto.
What's the motto?
Nothing. What's the matter with you?
So, without further ado, let's see those 5+1 steps. The good news is that if you want to join the monastery, you won't even need a CV. It is very simple to get hired. First, you have to knock on the door of the monastery. If no one opens the door, don't be surprised, there's just a test. If you're able to stand in the door for days and ask to be invited in, then they will let you in. I recommend you to apply in summer because winter could be chilly. When they invite you in, you live in the visitor's room for a couple of days, and then you get a room of new people. You get a senior who takes care of you and helps you. Sounds easy and comfortable, right? After 2 months of preparing yourself, they will read you the Rule of Saint Benedict. If you're able to sit it through, you can stay. 6 months later, they will read you this rulebook again. And 4 months later, again. If you still want this, after that, all you have to do is just take a vow, give all your money to the poor, and get rid of all your property and you're in. Congratulations! It was only 1 year. It's easy, right? No, it isn't. Be obedient. This is the basic of everything. In a monastery, your boss is the abbot. Anything your abbot demands you to do, you do it. You do it immediately. If you get an order, you stop doing what you're doing right now and you obey. If you're having a rest and your abbot says, go pray, you go pray. If you're praying and your abbot says, have a rest, you have a rest. If you're watching your favorite Netflix show and there are just 2 minutes left from the season finale and your superior says, clean the bathroom, you pause Netflix and grab a toilet brush. The reason behind this is really simple. Being able to say no to your own will and your own interests is the clearest way to avoid committing any sin. Because if you don't decide what to do, you can avoid doing sinful things. In a Benedictine monastery, nothing is yours. You cannot have your own self-property, not a single book. Everything is owned by the monastery and everything is used mutually. There is no me, there is just we. No, it's not communism. This has an entirely different meaning. How could you have your own thing if you don't even have your free will anymore? Owning properties distracts your attention from God, and therefore, this is the reason of many, many sins. The rule also says that everybody gets things according to his needs. If someone gets more, that's because he needs more, because he's weaker and have some kind of condition. The man who gets less has to accept it, and the man who gets more have to remember that this is not because they are special in any way, they just have a condition. Plus, they have to be grateful for anything they get. If you're a Benedictine, you have to be quiet. A Benedictine monk doesn't speak unless he really has to. A good student listens and doesn't speak. Okay, maybe asks, but not always, and with huge respect. Good news is that you don't have to worry about the awkward silence after you just told a really bad joke, because you are not allowed to tell jokes either. Laughter just interrupts silence. And why would you want to interrupt silence? A good monk doesn't speak for no reason, doesn't laugh, doesn't make any jokes. Yeah, a Benedictine monastery is not a Metallica concert. It is indeed a quiet place. The first rule of monastery, that this is not a fight club. And the second rule is that
you do not talk about Fight Club.
The monks are not allowed to hit each other without the permission of the abbot. Does that mean that you're going to be friends with your mates in the monastery? No, quite the opposite. Shielding another monk, saying anything in another monk's defense is just as bad as hitting another monk in the face. If the abbot says one of the monks did something wrong, who are you to protest the decision of the abbot? Another monk is not your enemy and not your friend either. He is a partner you could learn from. Although the order of the superior is the most important one, the monks also have to obey each other's demands. They are allowed to give each other advice and demands, and obeying our partner is also a way to say no to our free will. For example, a young monk has to obey to an old monk, even if the old monk is not the abbot. Has this ever happened to you? You are peacefully sleeping in your single bed, wearing your clothes and your belt, and your knife, as always. And at the middle of the night, you wake up and realize that you cut yourself with your knife again while asleep. It is a common problem when we sleep with our knives. But now it's finally over. If you join the Benedictines, it won't happen to you anymore. The rule of a Benedict has a rule for every minute of a day and night. A Benedictine has to sleep in a single bed in his clothes because he has to be ready every time he is called to pray. And because sometimes they have to wake immediately, it is forbidden to wear a knife in bed to avoid any accidents. This is a real rule, yeah. This is an actual rule. No more knife wounds, just waking up early. Worth it! Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like it. Bye!